Yeah.
Because that's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. It's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. And it's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it. A comma and a comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it, get it, get it. Comma and a comma, gotta get it, get it. It's a ticket talking Mazda for the biggest. That's a comma.
What's going on, guys? You're with Joe Pro and Vic Locke, and you are in the 5280 zone. Welcome back. I know we kind of took a little bit of a hiatus last week. We were running into some more technical difficulties, and instead of you all watching us sit here and struggle for 30 minutes to 45 minutes, we decided to just go ahead and cancel the show. So thank you for coming back and joining us. We're excited to be back. We got Christmas coming up next week, and we're ready for the holidays for sure. We've been enjoying some time to be able to get the show on the road and kind of get through things. And as you can see, I am back at home and I have my own setup back in place. So no more craziness with crazy hotel Wi-Fi. I am back in Arizona, so I am looking forward to talking some Mile High Sports in the 5280 zone. Before we get into too much, and I want to ask Vic a bunch of things about what's going on in his life. Want to give a special shout out and thanks to our sponsor, Willow Seasonings and Blends LLC, putting a little spice into your life. Make sure you go check them out at willowseasonings.com for all of your barbecue seasoning needs and more. They are a veteran-owned business, so we like to give them a big shout out and make sure to go check them out. Vic, how have you been, man? I know it's been a little while even since we've even been able to really talk and go back and forth. I know there's been a lot of stuff going on, a lot of moving parts. How's everything going?
Good. Work's been busy. A lot of moving parts here in my household. It's a lot more empty here. Going to be transitioning pretty soon here. Within the next couple months, about month, 2 months, figure out all this moving situation stuff on my end. But it's good, man. It's good. Like you said, I know we were having issues the last time we came on here on the show, and instead of, having to put everybody kind of through that again, it was good to just, I'm sure for you to be home and like you said, in your own setup, good Wi-Fi, no sketchiness, the mics are working. Even when we did our little pre-show deal, just to kind of do the sound test and stuff, everything's good so far. So, yes. Hopefully we have a better outgoing with this show than our last.
Yes, definitely. No, I agree, man. Like having my soundboard, having everything else, having my full setup on my mic, and all the connections that I need, and the straight up Wi-Fi cable just running straight into the computer. I don't have to worry about anything. So I'm super happy to be home for sure. It was a long 2 months being in a hotel, but work is work, and it's gonna keep me moving around, and that's what keeps the bills paid and keeps the show running. Really, so yeah, definitely. So we are the 5280 Zone. If you're a first time watcher, we are part of the Rocky Mountain Sports Network, and we are very happy to come and talk to you about Colorado sports and all the other things that we like to sit here and chit chat about. We are not by any means any type of real analyst. We'd love to jibber jabber and rant. So let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is the Nuggets win tonight. All right, so the Nuggets won 133 to 115 over the Atlanta Hawks. They were out in Atlanta tonight, and anytime you see Trey Young and Jokic on the court at the same time, you know it's going to be a classic. You know it's going to be a great game. And Joker went out there and did his thing. He showed up and he scored 20 points, 7 assists, and 10 rebounds, just a few assists away from a triple double again. This man is having a historic season, straight up historic season, even a better season than he had last year. And last year, he didn't miss a single game. This year, his numbers are a higher average, but he's missed a few games due to some just that one little nagging wrist injury. I was going to say ankle. It wasn't an ankle. It was a wrist injury.
Right.
And so it is great to see that he's coming out there and still keeping a fire underneath this team, even though we've been devastated by injuries. We still have Jamal out. We had PJ Dozier go down, and now we have MPJ go down. It's just like we cannot catch a break when it comes to the Nuggets this season. And so, it's really nice to be able to see and put all that faith and trust into Joker, and making sure that those things are still up and running as far as the team goes. And he's being able to keep us on the court, keep us in the games. We're 15 and 14 right now. Our record's not the greatest, but we still have a shot. We still have a chance. There's a lot of other teams that are struggling just the same with COVID or other injuries for the other teams as well.
Hey,
One of
so
the Yeah.
quick question. I mean, you quickly, we're running off some numbers, and obviously Mr. Triple Double this season, and his stuff is off the chain, both offensive and defensively this season. Do you think even with that wrist injury and with the Nuggets not doing so hot, you think Joker still has a chance at a possible MVP run?
I really do. I really do. There has been a couple articles out there and even published out on ESPN that because he's having such a historic season, that he definitely could go back to back and with this MVP. And unfortunately, being in a smaller market for basketball, the Nuggets don't get much love. They really don't. And Joker had a let's say a quiet MVP season. Nobody is giving him the respect that he really deserves on or off the court. The referees still treat him like he's another player. They're not treating him like a prima donna or treating him like superstar, like maybe a Steph Curry or a LeBron James. He's not getting the same calls that they're getting. If somebody touches LeBron with an eyelash, LeBron's going down and he's going to the line. You know what I mean?
Right.
But when it comes to Joker's getting beat up all game long, and it's evident by how red his body is and how many hits he's taking throughout the game, and not a single person is out there being able to go out. Not a single ref is going out there and giving him the same calls that any of one of those other players would be getting.
Right. So proven veteran, MVP, but he's not necessarily getting the acknowledgement you think that he should at least be getting.
Oh, exactly. I mean, if you look at what Giannis, after Giannis winning the MVP the couple times that he did, Giannis was getting calls left and right, left and right. And again, he was another one of those quiet MVPs. But he went out there, and again, Giannis came back out there and it had the mindset of like, hey, look, I can be MVP all I want, but if I don't win a championship, that MVP means nothing. And that's kind of the same mentality that Joker has kind of had this season. And I'm glad that he's coming in there with that type of fire of like, hey, look, Great. I won an individual award. I don't care. I'm a team player and I want my team to win. And that's what he's doing. He's putting his team on his back and he is giving them the best opportunity that he can with the pieces that he has to keep them in the game, to keep them in the running. And I think that we're going to make a big push near the end of the season once we hopefully maybe have Jamal Murray back.
Right.
But somebody that has been really melding well with him this season is Bones. Bones had a career night tonight as well. He went 20, he was 24, he had 24 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. That's a career game for the young rookie. And him and Joker were just on fire tonight. Him, Joker, Michael Green, and cannot think of his name, and Campazzo. Campazzo out there just doing his thing. Anytime Faku's on the court, they call him the wizard, they call him the magician,
Right.
and he's out there doing the things that he's doing, and it's great to watch. I thoroughly watched, or I thoroughly enjoyed watching this game tonight. It was a lot of fun, and like I said, the things that you see, the chemistry that he's building or that Joker's building between him and Bones is just like, all right, man, let's go. Like, I want to see how this is going to develop for the rest of the season because
Right.
of all the different things that have transpired. And so, if we can see somebody else come back out onto the court, like like Jamal Murray or something like that, I really like what could come from this team for sure. Um, Facundo Campazzo is his first name. We got some some questions from the peanut gallery over here. Yes, Facundo Campazzo. He goes by Facu sometimes. So but anyways, so yeah, I was really excited to see what's going on there, and I'm glad that the Nuggets pulled out a great win in Atlanta, and now they head up to Brooklyn for a battle against Kevin Durant and Blake Griffin and some of those other individuals up there in Brooklyn. So
Well,
it's going to be a good game.
good thing about that too is I don't know if you just saw, but recently they finally came to terms that with allowing Kyrie to play, but Kyrie's only going to be playing away games. So
Yep, they
that's one piece you don't got to worry about in this upcoming game.
nope, not at all. And you know what? I'm surprised that they're even letting him do the away games. When they made such a big stink about him not doing the away games and only doing
Right.
the home games, and then now it's vice versa. So it's kind of an
Well, they
interesting.
need him now. That's what it comes down to. Push comes to
Uh,
shove. It's regardless of what the situation was before, they had someone get injured and they had to reach out and kind of play into Kyrie's court.
yeah, definitely.
He wants to play, and now, they have to go with his price tag and to try and have the what is it? What's the limiting or the amount of players that need to be not on the COVID list to be on the court?
I
I think
can't
it's
remember
like,
the number right now.
yeah, I want to say it's like 8 or 9 active, but
Yeah, I think it's like 9, but
yeah, it's 8 or 9 active. But I mean, they need Kyrie to be able to do that on away games. So I mean, you got to pay
yeah,
the man.
and that's great for us that he's not going to be on the court, this whole season that they've had this super team. It hasn't really turned out to be the super team that they thought it was.
Right.
KD and Harden and Kyrie were supposed to be going out there and dominating teams, and they haven't. The Nuggets beat them. I think they beat them in every game that they played them last year, maybe except for like one. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I'd have to go back and look at the statistic, but um, I'm really super excited to see, what the Nuggets can do for the rest of the season. It's gonna be an interesting how fast we can get everybody on the same page and up to speed. Hopefully, kind of get rid of some of these little nagging injuries that everybody kind of has been having. Get through the holiday season and move forward with that. Some news coming out of the Avalanche. The Avalanche are canceled. The Avalanche's games are canceled for the rest, or postponed or canceled, and for the rest of the year.
Wow.
Not for the season, just for the rest of 2021. They won't be playing another game until after January due to all the COVID restrictions. and because they've had so many players go onto the COVID list. So that's going to be kind of interesting, and I'm sure that the guys over at In the Crease can give you more information on that. Um, but I just read that today, and I found that interesting. It's interesting even across into the NFL, and we'll go ahead and just start jumping into the NFL right now. The NFL, they have moved 3 games because of COVID.
Right.
We couldn't get a game moved last year, and we had to have a wide receiver as quarterback. But
Yep.
the Browns, who are on their third string quarterback, an actual quarterback still nonetheless, they can get their team and their games
Right,
moved.
and Baker Mayfield had a couple statements on that, talking about the NFL putting games before players, but it's kind of like you said, it's kind of a tough spot. Not even a tough spot, but it's kind of weird that he makes that statement when just this last season, like you said, we had to have our emergency QB, the guy out of Wake Forest, you know, not even practice squad wide receiver come out and do his thing. He made the Hall of Fame. That's great, I guess.
Yeah,
Nothing flashy. He's in there, but
yeah,
yeah.
and we'll give it up to Kendall Hinton too. That he went out there and he performed the way he needed to perform, and at the end of the day, I guess that's what matters, right?
I mean,
You still go
all
out
you
there
can
and do
do
what
is
you need
ask the
to do.
guy to suit up and attempt right at that point. So
Yep, and good for him. He got his round of applause. He went out there, he performed, he did what he needed to do. We didn't win the game, but at least he got out on the field and did what he needed to do.
yeah, let me
So
let me ask you something, Joe.
sure.
So how do you feel? I mean, don't not even looking at the record, right? Look at just the past 2 games. A loss to KC and a win against Detroit. I know that KC game would have been nice to come out with a win over at in Arrowhead, but that didn't happen. Are you really or like? I guess I kind of want to ask this to even the viewers if they want to comment or give us a question, give us their input on this. How do you guys really feel about that win in Detroit? A win is always a good feeling for me, and obviously numbers look nice, but does that really satisfy you? A win over a struggling team that has only that I know of up to this point maybe won one game with their new quarterback Jared Goff.
At the end of the day, a dub is a dub. All
Yeah,
right. Doesn't matter if it is against the best team, the worst team. I'm excited that it was a win. You know what I mean? And we performed well. And I think that's the kind of warm up game that we needed after a game where I really feel that we could have done much better against Kansas City than we actually did. It was
right.
a close. It was a closer game than what the scoreboard kind of reflected. But a win is a win, and at like I said, it gave us that stepping stone, that warm up to be able to come into the rest of our season against some tough opponents. We're not going in there for the rest of the season, and we're not going to be playing against Detroit type teams. But kind of establishing that game plan, establishing understanding, like, all right, if we do these things, these are the things that come from it. Establishing that run, being able to establish the play action, and then being able to establish the pass based off of the play action. I think that is a big piece and a big component to what we need to be doing. Like I said, yeah, does it? It's like I wouldn't say it sucked, but I would just say that uh, a win is a win. So am
I
I
think
happy about it? Yeah, I'm satisfied about it. It's a win.
I think the way that I'm more so looking at it is a win is a win most definitely, and it definitely builds that motivation that I guess not just motivation but a good vibe going into this next game. How do you feel that they're prepared for this next game? Running back Williams, uh, he's I don't know. I guess not necessarily questionable, but he's kind of rehabilitating a little bit of injury off that last game.
Yeah,
You
he's
think that's going to be an issue going into Cincinnati?
yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily going to be an issue. Sometimes the media, from what I've seen, kind of either they downplay it or they hype it up too much. And I think this is one of those situations where they're hyping it up, the injury, a little bit more than it actually is. I think Pookie's going to be fine. I think he'll go out there, do his thing. and put up numbers. It's going to still be that 1-2 punch between him and Melvin,
Mhm.
going back and forth. And I'm going to get into that in a little bit with you, on some thinking and thought as far as Melvin goes. But I think, like I said, I think it is a good indicator of what we need to be doing going forward. And so, you know, we're going to be going against a tougher Cincinnati team, and but these are it's a good progression. I think this is going to be a good progression because guess what? We're also going to be going against we're going to be going against the rest of our division opponents again. We're going all through them all at once right after Cincinnati. So we start off going against the Chiefs or the Raiders. I can't remember off the top of my head right now. I totally spaced it out. I'm blanking on it, but and then ending the season against the Chargers, and
Right.
you know, the win last night for the Chiefs that put us in a good position to secure one of those wild card spots. But we got some comments coming in right now. We are capable of beating most teams if we play the way we did against the Chiefs and the Lions through maintaining that running game. That is 100% true. Since he has a much better run defense, so it'll be interesting what the game plan is. It is. They do have a much better run defense, and I think that uh, this will be a good, true testament of what these running backs can do. Being the 1-2 punch that they have been, I think that's what we need to see. If we can have success there, I think that we are going to be able to go through and pound on the Raiders, pound on the Chiefs, and pound on the Chargers with our continued running game because the Chargers weren't able to stop it, the Chiefs weren't able to stop it. And I mean, the Raiders had a decent showing against our running game, but we didn't really establish a run in that game against the Raiders.
Right.
So, let's go out there and see what we can actually do against these teams. So, in that, with this 1-2 punch, do we bring Melvin Gordon back now with the amount of yards he's accumulated, the amount of touches he's had, and the amount of touchdowns he scored? I know that you were not the biggest fan at the beginning of the season about bringing him back, and you were definitely not a fan of him when he's made some key fumbles throughout the season that could have won us a few games. But now that he's kind of turning it on near the end of the season, and he hasn't made as many mistakes or as made as big of mistakes, do you think that we keep him on for next season?
Um,
We
Based off
resign him?
productivity alone, if he's willing to restructure that contract, I wouldn't be objected to it. I mean, I'm not expecting to pay him top dollar if that's what you're asking, because the way that Williams been playing is, I think that yeah, we're going 1-2 punch, but that's who we're going to be going leaning towards most. So if
Okay.
he's okay with the restructure, then absolutely, I'd bring him back. I think the positive and being able to, give each running back, touches and have them both come out with big games, big yardage, and overall, I think career. I think they're both looking at almost 1,000 yards this season already, or
Yeah.
something like that. So with numbers like that and them sharing touches, it saves them the bigger risk of injury for having to pound and pound and pound. I mean, look at what happened with Derrick Henry. I'd hate to see that happen to one of these running backs. So if he's willing to restructure, I say, yeah, bring him back.
Okay. So now, it- if we don't bring him back and we only have Pookie back there, I don't think I think Williams has been successful and he's been tremendous. But do you think that he'll be as successful if he doesn't have somebody else in that backfield with him? I know we have Mike Boone, but we have not seen Boone all season. So I think that kind of shows and kind of explains a lot, like why we don't need to have him around. Like we can move on from Boone, really. He hasn't seen any game time. Granted, he has had injuries and COVID and all this other stuff, but we haven't seen him
Um,
even when he's available.
I mean, we've seen a little bit of Boone, very very little. It was that game, I can't recall, but Gordon was, he didn't suit up that game. Boone had maybe like 3 or 4 carries. It wasn't anything big, but it wasn't anything either for us to be like, hey, we need to retain him. You know what I mean? Nothing flashy.
Yeah.
Um,
We don't have to restructure Gordon's deal. He's not on contract for next season.
Well, right. I guess what I'm getting at is if he's willing to take a
A,
lesser amount.
a pay
It's
cut.
not
Yeah.
not even a restructure. It's just you know if he's willing to
Smaller deal.
smaller deal. Right, right.
Got it.
But yeah, Boone hasn't done anything flashy. I mean, primarily he was a special teams guy over in Minnesota. So I
I like how
mean,
you said that. Minnesota.
Minnesota.
Minnesota. Like you're
You
from there or something.
oh no, man, Minnesota. No,
um,
but yeah. I mean, if Boone, if there's a spot for him on special teams, sure. But if we keep Gordon, we don't need him necessarily unless it's for the depth chart.
yeah, no, I think that I still think, and I agree with this comment here coming in from my dad again. There are other options as a second back, but Gordon, even with mistakes, is still one of the more explosive backs
Hmm.
available. I agree with that. That Gordon has been sitting here and he has been explosive. Yes, he has made mistakes, but you know what I mean. Those mistakes can be fixed. I really honestly think that they can be fixed because we haven't had. I mean, it's not like running backs don't make mistakes. There's running backs that don't put the ball on the ground as much, but I think that what we've seen are those mistakes can be fixed in the offseason. So, I would be okay with us bringing back Gordon for another year or two, maybe a small 2-year deal, and seeing what he can do for us, continue what he can do with us. But like I said, like we were talking about earlier this season, with Vic Fangio and Teddy Bridgewater, like, are we bringing this whole cast back if we're going into the playoffs? Or is this something that, hey, look, they have to do something, put up some real numbers, put up some real wins to be able to go out there and retain Vic, retain Teddy B. I know your thoughts are on retaining Teddy B for sure,
Hmm.
and I think that's a lot of sentiment across Broncos country is that we don't really have this true desire to keep Teddy Bridgewater around. But he has been putting up numbers, has he not?
Stop.
Quarterback percentage
Stop.
wise
Stop.
and yardage
Stop.
and receptions. I
Stop.
mean, I just I have to play the devil's advocate here for you, Vic, because
Nope.
I know what your feelings are on Teddy Bridgewater, but go and look at his quarterback rating. Go look at his
Listen,
quarterback rating.
let's block this name right quick because you already know how I feel about that. But with all that being said, and him not being available and him not being the go-to guy anymore, I will still express my opinion on Teddy Bridgewater. Right? You want
Okay.
to talk about his rushing, his completions, and all that stuff, his touchdowns. That's great. That's great when it's working for him. That's great when he's throwing 4 passes, for 4 completions and a touchdown. But what you forget about is the 18 times he got sacked, all the games that are lost, the interceptions thrown.
But
I
maybe he
mean,
wasn't given a fair shot, you know? I mean, Drew Lock didn't get a fair shot. Maybe Teddy Bridgewater is not getting a fair shot. Maybe he needs
it's the
18
same.
more
It's the
games.
same. You're saying Teddy is not getting a fair shot when Teddy gets first team snaps, when Teddy gets time with the playbook, when Teddy gets live snaps in a game and in practice with these guys, building that rhythm, but he don't got a fair shot. The GM went out of his way to go bring Teddy here because that's who he wanted as his quarterback from the get-go. But Teddy didn't get a fair shot. They competed in the offseason where they were about even, if I'm being honest. About even. Those 3 preseason games, we won all 3 of those games. And if you look at them, they're pretty even. But it was never a fair shot. It was never a competition. They
Oh
already had
man.
their mindset with who they were going with. Because
Yeah.
everybody knows who they don't trust. And now they don't want to go backwards because even the few times that we put Locke in there. I mean, I'm gonna have him. I'm gonna chew his ass out too. Excuse me. I'm gonna chew him out too because there's plenty of times where his fundamentals have gotten better, but his decision making and him trying to force it, yes, absolutely. I mean, sometimes you got to take the risk and it doesn't come out the way you want. But other times there's no reason for making those errors. Even as a rookie, even 2 years or 2.5 years into your seasons, you shouldn't be making these mistakes. You should be just dumping that ball off, not costing us the game, not doing turnovers. So it goes both ways on that side. Do I think they're both starters at this point? Not in Denver. Not in
Okay.
Denver. It's not
Okay.
just the OC. It's not just the play calling. It's the effectiveness of making the correct reads, looking at the defense, and making the right decisions. Because just as easily as Teddy B can take all these sacks, it doesn't make that okay for Locke to throw all these interceptions.
Yeah. No. And that was another Vic Lock bomb.
Yeah,
I, I, I am not mad at you. Oh, there we go. There's the sound effect. Vic Lock bomb right there. Um, I'm telling you, it is one of those things, man. And I'm sorry that I got you all riled up. I was just being, just wanted to get under your skin there, a little bit of devil's advocate. I know how much that you despise Teddy Bridgewater, but like you said, he's looking north of $20 million for at least 2 to 3 years. For his next contract, will it would be with Denver? Probably not. 90, I would say 99% chance that he's not coming back to Denver, unless he goes out and wins a Super Bowl or something crazy. I'm not saying that we can't. I'm not saying that
right.
we're not going to go to the Super Bowl. I still have faith. I am a Denver Bronco faithful. I am a fanatic. All right, have faith that we're going to the Super Bowl and we're going to win it and we're going to beat Tom Brady. Because Tom Brady does terrible against the Broncos. It's proven fact. Um, that is, but that I don't foresee Teddy Bridgewater come back next season, and I really don't care to see him come back next season.
Right.
But I agree with this comment here too. Fangio has a possibility of coming back if they make the playoffs, but it will be with a different quarterback. I agree.
Absolutely.
Fangio probably will come back. But like me and you were talking about this before the show, and we were saying how much that we think that it. What matters is that Fangio is starting to develop as a head coach and not so much being just an offensive or I'm sorry, defensive coordinator. He
Right.
was so focused strictly on defensive play calling that he not being able to manage a game. And he's doing a better job of that over the last couple of games. I have definitely seen that he is being able to manage the game. And maybe it's not him just managing the game, but he's managing his people. We're not seeing huge improvements on the offensive side of the ball, but we're seeing things enough to be able to get us some more wins. Like we
Right.
said, we had a struggle, kind of a struggling game against Kansas City. A lot of boneheaded, simple, airheaded mistakes that could have been corrected, could have been fixed, but also the play calling wasn't the greatest. We established a run, but we needed to build upon that, not just continue to do the same thing. And uh, but we also need a leader on the field, a leader on the field, and a leader on the coaching staff for the offensive side of the ball. So our offensive coordinator Pat Shermer is still not doing anything when it comes to that. He
Mhm.
doesn't have a quarterback that can run a 2-minute offense. Teddy Bridgewater is the most lackadaisical quarterback I have ever seen ever in the history of football.
Listen, let me go grab a hammer and just hit the nail with you because you just said two things 100% I agree with. When you say that, that you need a leader on that field, the leader should not be the coach, right?
Yeah,
It should be the player. And at the beginning of training camp and even going into the season, they decided Teddy B was going to be that leader. And when you're looking at the sidelines and the guys looking down and you get put in these 2-minute situations, whether you're up or you're down, you got to be focused. You got to be motivated for you and this team. And I don't see that with Bridgewater at all. He's got
no,
no sense of urgency. He's got no hurry up. I feel like he's got no adrenaline and he doesn't want to win. I feel like he's okay with doing bare minimum and attempting to win. No, you go, you get your guys, and let's go. We got this amount of time. We got this amount of time to get this amount of yards to go secure more points. And
yeah,
I don't see him being that guy.
I don't either. I really don't. And let's we're gonna take a quick break on this real quick.
Yep.
And we're gonna give a thanks in our sponsor, Willow Seasonings and Blends LLC, putting a little spice into your life. Willow Seasoning, go check them out at willowseasonings.com. They are a veteran owned company and they have all of your barbecue and seasoning needs. So make sure to go check them out. Thank you again to our sponsor, Willow Seasonings and Blends. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe over to the Rocky Mountain Sports Network on all social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, of course. So make sure, like I said, like, share, and subscribe. That is where we are located at. That is the platform that we come on weekly. So be sure to go check them out. Okay. Vic, let's get
Yep.
back into this. I'm sorry. I just want to make sure we get a quick promo in there. We got to make sure people know where to go, right?
Yeah, you gotta go get
Um,
some of that sweet smoke the same way that I'm giving it to Teddy B.
yes. So us not bringing Teddy Bridgewater back next season. Let's say we make the playoffs and we get to the second round. That's the scenario, okay? And this is going to be kind of your episode of high and dry. All
Okay.
right. Uh, who are you bringing in as our quarterback next season? So we have a couple options here. I'm going to give you three. All right.
No, there are no options. There's only one answer.
There's three options. This is your three options. Drew Lock,
Okay.
Aaron Rodgers,
Mhm.
or Russell Wilson. Out of those three quarterbacks, you had to make it to the top of the mountain. The pinnacle being the Super Bowl. Who are you choosing out of those three quarterbacks to get us there?
That's easy. I'm going with number three. Number three, not being the guy that you guys think I'm going with, not being the guy that's part of my screen name. Well, whatever. There, not that guy. I'm gonna go with Russell Wilson.
Russell
I'm gonna
Wilson.
go
Okay.
proven veteran, proven leader, ready to go right here, right now.
Okay. And why? So why?
I mean, I just told you, he's a proven veteran. He's a leader. You know what I mean? He's a guy that this whole team can kind of rally around. We've got young talent. We've got young talent. The O line has proven to be solid this season, even with the second stringer and practice squad guys having to step up at certain times during this season. They've gone in there and held their own. So a lot of the times, it's really down to quarterback, decisions. And you got to have a guy who's quick on his feet, quick in his mind. And Russell Wilson to me is that guy. He's able to make those decisions. He's able to extend plays when needed. He's able to be mobile and scramble if he has to. I would definitely go with him.
Okay.
That's no questions asked. George Patton, our GM has even said he keeps preaching. I don't know if it's kind of to throw other teams off or just making a statement. We have some cap space coming up, and for me, nobody really wows me in this draft. Would I be opposed to grabbing somebody to study under Russell Wilson? No. I think that's a good guy to have, in your QB locker room as a veteran to kind of give you the steps and lead you into your NFL career. So spend the money, use a draft pick. I think it's Russell Wilson.
Okay, so you're saying Russell Wilson, and I'm going to agree with you there. I think that Russell Wilson is going to be a better answer for us. He's a little bit younger than Rodgers, and he has accolades too. He's been to a Super Bowl, and he's won a Super Bowl, all that good stuff. He's been to a couple Super Bowls actually. He won one, lost one. Okay,
Right.
if they would have chose Marshawn instead of allowing Russell to pass, he probably would have two Super Bowls under his belt.
Right.
But anyways, what are you giving up for him?
I mean, we've got plenty of picks. I mean, honestly, looking at the team that we have and the draft and everything, I would be okay with losing some of those first rounders and paying the man. I think it's worth it. It's
Okay.
worth it to spend those and get somebody who's going to give you a solid at minimum 3 years.
Okay, but then that's the problem is that okay, we're always talking about these bridge quarterbacks. Wilson being a bridge quarterback, I think I agreed with this comment of bringing Pickett in. I think that if we bring Wilson in, I think we need to draft a quarterback now because this is how we bring the tutelage in and into this realm of trying to build a quarterback.
Mhm.
We need to have a quarterback in the room to build.
Right.
So right now, unfortunately, like I said, I don't think, like we both said, I don't think Locke is coming back. I don't think, I think, well, he has a little bit of time left on his contract. I think he has another year left on his contract. But we get rid of Teddy B. He doesn't have any time left on his contract. And we bring in another rookie to start learning. You know, maybe this isn't the best quarterback draft class in by any means or stretch of the imagination. You know what I mean? But if we don't bring somebody in, then that bridge quarterback, we're going to be in the same boat that we were in after Manning left. And we didn't have anybody. We didn't have anybody to go in there and take the reins and drive the ship to where it needs to be.
Right.
And so, what how do you go out there and give away first round draft picks? I mean, I get it. We gotta give up something, but I don't think first round draft picks are the answer right now. I don't think that we can give that up. So I mean, give me a player. I think we're gonna need to give up a player to bring in Wilson. And I wish
It would probably, if I'm looking at it, it might be Judy.
Judy.
I think it might have to be Judy. It has to be someone worth a little bit of value. And I mean, we've already established Cortland and Tim Patrick.
Yeah,
So
no, I
I
could
think
definitely see I could definitely see Jerry Judy moving on from us if that needed to be the case. Because we do have KJ Hamler
mhm,
that could fill into that slot role. And Jerry Judy has not even caught a touchdown pass this season, I don't believe. Or if he has, he's only caught one. And
right.
so I definitely think we can be moving on. That's kind of the answer I was looking for. I was trying to fish for that, see what you came with. But yeah, Judy. I don't, but and that's another thing for me though is I don't know if Seattle needs a receiver. I mean, they still
Right.
got
With Lockett and Metcalf.
yeah, they got Metcalf and Lockett up there. Two monster receivers as well. But again, that's not Jerry Judy's role. Jerry Judy's role is that slot type receiver.
Right.
So we'll see. Yes, Tom Brady was a 6th round pick. And he was considered a project. So who can really say this draft class isn't going to succeed? I mean, yeah, I understand, I get that, but that's well, 1 in a million. All right, we picked up Trevor Simeon, that didn't work out.
Paxton Lynch.
Paxton Lynch, a 1st round pick,
Brock
and so
Osweiler.
Brock Osweiler's 1st or 2nd round pick. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I think he's second.
Yeah, so I get it. Yeah, maybe we don't need to go spend a 1st round pick. Maybe we don't, but uh in statistically most I think that we're gonna have the most bang for our buck if we choose that with using a 1st round pick vice hoping for the best out of us being a 6th round pick. Trevor Simeon's still in the league. I think that Trevor Simeon didn't get a fair shake either. He's another one of those individuals that did not get a fair shake. He's a decent quarterback and he's keeping the Saints afloat.
Right.
So they're still being competitive for the NFC South right now. We'll see how that turns out for them. I'm not 100% sure how that will end up working out, but it. I don't really pay attention to the NFC South. I don't really care about the NFC South. So, anyways, but yeah, no, I think that Russell Wilson's going to be a great if we are able to go pick him up. I think that'll be a great pickup. I think that we keep Vic Fangio next year. If we make the playoffs, if we don't make the playoffs, we go ahead and move on from Vic Fangio. And but I think that we need to move on from Pat Shermer. Uh, he is not developing. He's not evolving. He is not growing. Throughout the season, you would hopefully expect to see some more growth.
Mhm.
I mean, there's been minute amounts of growth there that we can kind of peek into that type of world of him growing as an offensive coordinator, but he's still running the same schemes and it is very predictable. Nothing is coming or going there.
Right.
Um,
I
so
got I got
looking,
one question for you, Joe, real quick.
sure,
So let's say we don't target, the Aaron Rodgers or the Russell Wilson, and we try and be a little bit more. I hate using this word, but it's been used plenty of times with the organization as of late. Let's say we go conservative, right? And we're looking
Mhm.
at more conservative, looking at saving cap space, saving picks. Let's say we go all out and we do look at first round for the quarterback deal. Teddy Bridgewater, you bringing him back, or are you going after like Kirk Cousins?
Uh, Neither. I would rather take my shots with a rookie between before going with Kirk Cousins
Day
or
one with the rookie.
yeah, day one with a rookie and throw him to the wolves and make him throw his feet in the fire and make him learn from that way because there's no way Kirk Cousins. I think I'm glad that we didn't go with him back when we did. Yes, he has a high quarterback passer rating, just the same as Teddy Bridgewater. But I think that he is still a washed up quarterback, just like Teddy Bridgewater. I don't think that we're going to be seeing success down the field with either of those individuals. You know what I mean? Um, the Vikings didn't beat the Lions, just like we didn't see the Pittsburgh Steelers beat the Lions, and I don't think Ben Roethlisberger is the answer either.
No.
Um, and so I think that it's time to move on from that idea. And so we had another question that came in right now, and it says, "Who do you bring in if Shermer is let go?" Uh, that is an easy one, Kellen Moore. If we can bring him in to be our offensive coordinator, I want Kellen Moore. I would even I would be happy with him becoming our becoming our head coach. He's a young, bright offensive mind, and I think that he has the talent there. I would like to see what type of coaching staff he puts around himself, but I really like Kellen Moore and what he's been doing down south for Dallas.
I mean,
Uh,
I've even heard Urban Meyer's available.
I mean, I don't know how I don't know how well that one would go over, because I don't think McMoney would be too happy if he got kicked. So I think McMoney might put a boot in his face if if Urban became
Yeah, let's
available and came
let's
over.
let's not kick our special teams player of the week in the head
Yeah,
or in the back or in the leg at all.
yeah. Um, uh, is that is a lateral move. And is there another coordinator that's not an offensive coordinator right now? Um, I don't know off the top of my head. I honestly don't. I don't have. Uh, if you would have said Joe Brady a couple weeks ago, I thought Joe Brady might be doing some good things, but and that was another lateral move. He's not an offensive coordinator anymore. He got fired, but that would be an interesting one to have. I do like the what is that guy's name? I cannot remember. The quarterback coach from the Niners right now. I liked what he's been doing, especially with Jimmy G and Trey Lance. I think that if he's developing those quarterbacks as well as he is, if he came down and became our offensive coordinator, I think that would be a good pickup for us because then we could see um, him develop some quarterbacks for our team, and
Yeah.
that's something I think that is important. Like I said, that's where we're struggling right now is quarterback development. So bringing somebody in that can develop a quarterback is going to be something I think is really important for whoever our next offensive coordinator is, who our next head coach is, being able to. But again, the head coach's job is to manage the game and manage his people. So if he is able to manage his coaching staff to be able to bring the pieces in, just like the president of the United States. If he goes in and he assembles a good cabinet, he's going to be a good president, right? Same thing. If our head coach can go in and be a good head coach and establish a good team around him, a good cabinet of coaches, that's where we succeed. And I think that that is a very important thing. Is seeing if Fangio sticks around, who he is gonna bring in, and that
Right.
is gonna meld well with his personality as well. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. So anyways, that is going to be the end of our show there. We're going to wrap this up. So we want to go ahead and give another shout out to our sponsors, Willow Seasonings and Blends, making sure to put a little bit of spice into your life. Go check them out at willowseasonings.com. And again, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe over to the Rocky Mountain Sports Network on all major social media platforms: TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. They are where we are at. The 5280 Zone is on the Rocky Mountain Sports Network. So make sure to go check them out, and don't be selfish. Make sure to share with your friends and family and loved ones so that they can sit there and look at my beautiful mug and Vic's beautiful face too. And listen to us rant and rave about all the different things that are going on. That is all the time that we have for this week's show. Vic, you want to leave them some parting words before we take off for the evening?
Well, I mean, as always, be safe out there. Enjoy the holidays. Enjoy the time with your loved ones, your family, your friends, and we'll see you on our next show.
Yep, we'll see you next Friday. Same time, same place. Well, close to around the same time. You know, different every week for us. I apologize. We're gonna try to get better about that. But anyways, make sure, like I said, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Rocky Mountain Sports Network. If you want to see more content, make sure to either DM me or Vic, and we will make sure that we answer some of your questions. And if you have any comments or anything like that, or any suggestions, hit us up. Let us know. If you want to come on to the show, hit us up. Let us know. We are happy to sit here and jibber jabber with whoever wants to come on to the show. But other than that, again, you are now leaving the 5280 zone. Thank you for joining us. Good night.